Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Ben Talks About. Now, last year I actually made myself a video talking about the system, the Nintendo 3DS, or more specifically its cheaper alternative, the Nintendo 2DS. And I stated in that video that that this right here is by far one of the best deals you could possibly get if you're trying to casually get into gaming, and I stated that one of the games in my personal library that I feel like is a game that anyone can get into is this one right here, Animal Crossing New Leaf. And what with the next installment in the series, New Horizons, being released on the Nintendo Switch for a while at this point, I feel like it's sort of appropriate that I go ahead and fulfill my promise that I made near the end of that specific video where I said I was going to talk about each of the games that I have individually in my 3DS library. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. Now, for those of you who do not know, Animal Crossing is a series of games released by Nintendo, originating in the early 2000s with the release of Animal Crossing on the Nintendo GameCube. In these games, you take the role of a villager who moves to a brand new town filled with a whole bunch of anthropomorphic animals and no other humans for some odd reason. And your main goal in these games is to more or less just do stuff. You do stuff, and then you get money for doing said stuff, and then you use that money to buy stuff. So it's basically a Nintendo's variation on real life. Now, in these games, the main things that you'll essentially be doing is of course making money, which is one of the major mechanics of the game. Whereas once you move into your house, you have to pay a constant amount of loans and debt that you have on the house, as well as that allowing you to customize your house further and further by adding different floors and increasing the space of said floors, so you can start customizing your house the way that you want to. And the other thing that you use the bells, the in-game currency for, is to decorate your house with several different types of furniture, other miscellaneous items like that. Whether you do that to get just a whole bunch of a specific set of furniture, or doing something allowing you to customize it the way that caters to your interest more specifically, is one of the major mechanics that you use the bells for. However, in New Leaf, this is where the differences from the previous games come into play. As in this game, you not only play a role as one of the villagers in the town, but you also play the role of the town's mayor, which gives you more options in terms of how you want to customize your village. You do this by two major new mechanics that are put in this game. The first one being the public work projects, which are essentially different attractions that you can put in your village, such as fountains, clocks, bells, those kind of things. And you're able to place them wherever you want to in your village, just as long as there's enough space for it and it's in a location where it's actually compatible, which is cool, since it allows you to be able to be very creative in terms of what you put in there, what you decide to not put in there. And the main way you get these new public work projects is by talking to the villagers that are also in your town, which, on top of having different personalities and unique designs, allowing you to be curious on what villagers will move into your town or move out of your town in certain situations. But they are also the ones that give you suggestions on the type of work projects they would like to see in the village that they live in. So then it's up to the player to either follow suit or just ignore them entirely because it's not the specific project that they wanted. The other major mechanic in the game that was added to this installment are the ordinances, which I believe is how it's pronounced, which are essentially laws that you can entitle your village to, such as having the villagers stay later at night, having the different shops where you can buy items, or different plants or different tools such that you use to get other items in your town. You're able to make one where those sort of shops stay open later, or the one that most people usually do whenever they want to make their village look nice, being the one where they where villagers are constantly planting flowers and making it so that the flowers never go dead if you don't water them for a few days. Which is, is more or less the only real audience that you really need, again, if you want to make your village look really nice. And not have to worry about that one flower that you forgot to water because because at the beginning of the game you can only water one flower at a time until you get some of the later upgraded tools, which you have to do very specific tasks in order to get. So yeah, just go ahead and put that audience in your village if you want to not deal with all that stuff. But yeah, both of these different mechanics are really great and allow you to have more customization in your town. But one of the major things about the game that is in a way is kind of a flaw, but is more of a self-inflicted flaw that the players sort of put on themselves and not necessarily the game's fault, is that every single thing that you do in this game, almost everything that you do in this game, costs bells, which are of course the in-game currency. And of course you get these by doing specific tasks, such as, selling certain items that you don't need, finding the special money rock that appears every single day, and doing other stuff like that. But the amount that you usually get is a rather small amount. Meanwhile, a lot of the work projects or specific furniture sets or certain things like that cost a insane amount of bells. And these these different furnitures don't appear for very long in your town because the game is all in real time, meaning that every single day you'll be getting a different set of items that you can buy, and it'll be constantly shuffled around each and every day. So now you are able to do what's called time traveling, which basically is just a way of letting you change the time of what the game says, so that you're able to do certain things that would happen normally at night, but you're able to still play the game during the day. But the thing is, when you're playing the game in a way like that, I feel like it has the same sort of issue that I feel like it's sort of similar to when people do competitive Pokemon. Making sure that you do it a specific way where you have the Pokemon that are the right stats, the right natures, have the right abilities, and being able to get the perfect stats with their children in order to, be able to level up faster, being able to do the most damage, and all that kind of stuff. When you start playing the game like that, and considering that the actual when you're basically making it into essentially a chore to do because you're doing specific things in a specific way, I feel like that sort of takes the fun out of the game because, like I said, the items throughout the day and events throughout the day get shuffled around. So if you find yourself ending up to time travel around 3 or 4 times a day in order to do all the events that you usually want to do and get all the items that you want to get for no other reason other than to get more stuff. The only real sort of one that I can kind of excuse is when you go to the island, which is an area where you're able to find very rare fish and bugs, which appear mostly during the night. And I've done sessions where I've waited until night in order to go to this island and find the an entire group of the most expensive bugs to sell, getting money that way. But I haven't done that in quite a while. And aside from that, and that's mostly because a lot of the things that you do in the game do cost a whole lot of bells in order to get. I feel like doing more stuff like that again sort of takes the fun out of the game, because I feel like this game is very catering towards casual gamers, because it's the type of game that you can just relax and play through it, maybe once or twice a day normally. And, being able to interact with all the villagers that you have, being able to see what kind of stuff you can buy, what other sort of mini games you can do on specific days, and you know, being able to play the game in a leisurely pace like that is sort of what I feel like what the game sort of encourages you to do. But when you start making it into like a step-by-step sort of short in order to basically get virtual money that you use to get virtual furniture for your virtual house, I feel like that sort of again takes away sort of the sort of relaxation of the game, because you know when you're playing it in you know in a more casual sort of way, the game can be really fun. It's fun to see you know what kind of stuff happens in your village, what villagers talk to each other, what villagers end up moving in, the different type of things that you can build, and making your village the way that you want to make your village. And on top of that, with the game having a very relaxed sort of look to it, and the music is really soothing as well, especially when you know you hear when it transitions to a separate song when another hour passes. You know, those kind of things in the game are what I feel like makes this game really accessible, is that again, it's the type of game that you can just play through and have a relaxing time doing so. So yeah, like I said, I would most definitely recommend this game if you're just starting to get into the 3DS library, and if you want a game that you can just relax and play however you want to, I definitely recommend you get yourself Animal Crossing New Leaf. And with the you know recent game New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch, I feel like most people would try and get in the series with that, since considering the fact that this game was released back in 2012, and it took until 2020 in order for them to get a new installment in the main series, not counting like spin-offs and stuff. But I still do feel like there's a lot of things in this game that make it a very you know, a good like buying choice. Also considering the fact that you can get it much cheaper nowadays, considering how old the system and the game itself is. But overall, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed me talking about this game right here. I actually had a lot of fun talking about it. I had quite a few things to say. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this return to my my talking videos, and you will be seeing more of these later down the road, along with our new tradition of having our you know 1 week playthroughs of you know all these games. So yeah, again, I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, I am Ben Contreras, and bye.